Hi everyone. Thank you for your patience. We'll just start in another minute. Okay, so yeah. Yeah. Hi Vidula. A very good evening. You able to hear me?
Yes, hi.
Yeah, hi. Okay, so we'll start. So hi everyone, a very good evening to all of you. So we are here today to be pain-free at work. Okay. So we have with us Vidula. Okay, so she is Dr. Vidula Mhatre. She's a master of physiotherapy with expertise in
Musculoskeletal.
health and movement. She's also a pelvic floor rehabilitation therapist, Lama's certified childbirth educator, and lactation counselor. Okay, I can't pronounce the words that you've already done. So, through her clinical experience, she helps people prevent and manage pain with practical, evidence based strategies that fit into everyday life. Her approach focuses on correcting movement patterns, improving posture, and empowering individuals to build long term habits for better health and well being. So yeah, she has so much of experience on all of this. So I'm sure she'll be helping you work through all of that. And because me also as a corporate employee, I go through this every day, and yes, it pains every week. By the end of the week, we are at Friday, so you all know the pain. So please, Vidula, help us how to mitigate and how to go about it. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all for taking time out today to join this workshop and be here. So, if you are spending 4, 6, or 8 hours a day in front of the computer, okay, at the desk, then today's session is tailor made for you. So I'm Dr. Vidula Mhatre. I'm master's in orthopedic physiotherapy, and I'm certified pelvic floor physiotherapist. I'm Lama certified childbirth educator and lactation counselor, and I conduct ergonomic workshop for corporates. So our today we won't be talking about only the theories, but we are going to work on some daily habits that can help you save you from the neck back pain and also conserve your energy. So this is basically the evidence based guide to the workplace ergonomics. Okay, so as you all must be knowing that most of you when we are looking at the statistics, so statistics says that 30% of absenteeism in the corporate world is mainly because of the musculoskeletal pain and the musculoskeletal repetitive trauma injuries. Okay, so now look at this. So what do you think? Is this you at end of middle of the day, somewhere around 3 p.m. on Tuesday? Are you sitting like this, just stooping in the chair, like looking at your phone with your neck forwardly flexed and your spine completely curved? And what do you think about this posture? Okay, so maybe this postures are taking very heavy physical toll on your body. Okay, so this the static work, when you are working in your company and you are at work, so you are sitting in that static posture in your chair, completing the work given to you for hours together. So it is seen that 70% of the desk workers, they have neck or back pain every years. And when you are sitting at the desk, most of the times you have some important meeting going on. If you have some work at hand, you tend to sit at that in that particular posture for hours together. But you know what, 20 minute is it is the it is long enough 20 minutes in particular position. So that is going to reduce the spinal disc nutrition. Then when we say the spinal disc nutrition, what does that mean? So if you are aware, our spine, the vertebrae are stacked one on over another, and between the two vertebrae we have a disc. Okay, so that disc is nothing but a jelly like substance, which is like the 70% of the content of the disc is water. So if you are sitting in a static posture, the disc needs movement for it to have nutrition. Okay, so if you are sitting in a same posture for long hours, the disc will not have its nutrition, and that can lead to issues with neck and back pain. Okay, and imagine if you are spending approximately 4 hours, okay, into that poor posture, you are losing lot of energy into it. So imagine you are slouching. Now what is happening to your rib cage when you slouch? Okay, your rib cage is also forward bent and your lungs are compressed, so you are not able to breathe properly. Okay, your lungs are not able to expand properly, and that is why I'm saying that you are losing the recoverable energy owing to the poor posture. Okay, now, see, when you are slouched, whenever we are working at the desk, we are supposed to sit straight. Everyone knows that. But when you are at work, you tend to come forward, your neck is stoop ahead. So when you are working like this, so every 10 degree of stoop posture is going to add weight onto your neck. Now our head carries somewhere around, it's like, it is the weight of the head is somewhere about 5 to 6 kgs. Okay, so every 5 to 10 degrees is going to add additional load to your neck. Okay, so imagine ki more you stoop forward, the more is going to be weight of your head. So if you are working at the desk, your neck is poking ahead, it is like carrying 8-year-old. Now average 8-year-old weighs somewhere around 30 kgs. Now imagine yourself sitting at the desk carrying 8-year-old on your shoulders, on your neck, and you're working for 8 hours long. Poor neck, isn't it? And so this is going to add on to lot of pressure on your spine, especially the cervical spine, and that will lead to pain in your neck, in your shoulder, and also in the arms. Okay, so if you must have heard about radiating pain to the arm, tingling and numbness, that is all because of the poor posture and loading the spine inappropriately. As I previously mentioned, the 30% of absentees in the corporate world are mainly because of these musculoskeletal or the orthopedic injuries. So whenever you are sitting at the desk, if you are not sitting in a good posture, you are slouching at your desk, you are bending forward. You are your neck is forward bent, the spine also automatically slouches. Okay, and that is going to add lot of pressure on your spine. Okay, so these issues with the neck are called as text neck. Okay, so now what exactly happens? So when you are keeping your neck into a forward posture, so that causes trapezius. Trapezius is a muscle which is located over here. So if it remains in the chronic strain position, that can lead to the muscle overworking, trying to support your head, trying to support that extra load that you are carrying because of the poor posture. And this can also lead to tension headaches. Now when we say tension headaches, it is basically the pain at the back of the head. Okay, now since the disc is not the spine is not moving, the disc is not getting the nutrition that it deserves, and it flattens the normal lumbar, that is the low back, has a small curvature at the back. Okay, our spine is not straight erect, it has a curve at the neck, then a little curved at the upper back, and then again it curves at the lumbar spine, that is at lower back. But because of the poor posture, the lumbar spine, which is supposed to be like this, it straightens up. Okay, and that increases the pressure in the disc by up to 85%. Now imagine a lumbar spine which is carrying a lot of pressure, it can give away easily. So the poor posture can also lead to decreased protection of the disc, and that can also lead to slip disc with slightest of load. Okay, now again, the posture is poor, you are slouching forward, your rib cage is compressed, your lungs are compressed, and that limits the deep breathing. Okay, that limits the oxygen that you will inhale with each breath in. And because of the poor oxygenation, you generally feel that, at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, that, oh no, now I'm too tired. So that is 3 p.m. fatigue. Okay, and you lose the focus on the work. Okay, so this is a trap, because there is a lot of, that there is, the muscles are overworking, the disc is compressed, the diaphragm are restricted, you're not able to breathe properly, and because of this the pain gradually builds, and that causes stiffness. Okay, and these things, even though we feel there is a lot of pain, and this is something, the bad has happened, but the good news is this is the early warning signs before any structural damage. Structural damage means, actually any structure is, before the disc is prolapsed, or before the cervical spondylosis has happened, you have all these aches and pains in the neck and the trapezius area. So you, if you, proactively take step to correct the text neck, definitely it is going to help you. Now how can you undo the tech neck or a text neck? So what you have to do is, your screen has to be at the eye level. So the upper third part of your screen should be at your eye. And how can you do that? You can either you make use of a stand, a laptop stand, so that the screen comes at your eye level. If not, you can use box or 2 3 books stacked underneath the laptop, so that the screen comes up. And then you have to use another attached keyboard to operate. Okay, now suppose, if you are stacking up box, and making the screen at your eye level, and if you work on the laptop like this, again your muscles are going to feel tired, right? So you need to have a additional attachment for your keyboard, have a additional keyboard, you will be working on that. Now another method to help your technique is chin tucks hourly. Now, what are the chin tucks? So, when we were looking at the technique, we were looking at the posture which was like this. Okay. So, chin tuck, what you're going to do, you have to straighten up your spine and now bring your chin back. So, this is the chin tuck. Can you do with me? All right. Start. Get your chin back and tuck it. Count for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let go. And like this, you are going to repeat the chin tucks. At a time, you will do somewhere around 10 chin tucks. And every hourly, you should be having a break for chin tucks. Okay. Now, these 10 repetitions are going to reset the muscles. Okay, now how many of us, have the habit or having a phone, you are working on the laptop and a phone is like this. Now if you are working like this and talking over the call like this, your muscles are overworking over here. So instead of cradling the phone on your shoulder, instead of that, if you think that call is going to be longer, use a headset instead. Okay, so that way you will save your trapezius muscle. Now that was about neck. Okay, but when it comes to back, so most of the time what we feel, that my back is aching, and I think my chair is to be blamed for. My office does not have a good chair, and I need to invest into some expensive ergonomic chair. But let me tell you, my friends, the chair, definitely it is going to support you in a much better way, but that will not solve the problem. The problem is basically your posture and the stillness. It is basically because you are not moving. Okay, so and as we've discussed earlier, if you have to maintain the disc nutrition, the spinal disc nutrition, what you need to do, you need to move so that the disc gets its nutrition. Okay, so the disc, the food for the disc is the movement. Okay, if you are moving well, then the disc is well fed. So what you should be doing, so every half an hour, max to max 40 minutes, you just have to get up from your desk, stand for 30 seconds, and just do spot marching. If you have a pantry close by, go and have, grab your water from there. Or if you have a call, you can, take your call while walking in the lobby. So that will break the stillness. Apart from that, there are certain movements that you should be doing. One of those, what we just discussed, was chin tuck or some more spine rotations. All right. Now, when we are talking about back, so we have to follow certain ergonomic, we need to have certain ergonomic foundations. So if we are looking at, how our chair should be, so when we are sitting in the chair, okay, your spine should be erect and well supported by the backrest. Okay, your arm and forearm should be at 90-degree and forearm supported by the hand rest. Okay, your hip and knees are bent at 90 degrees. Your feet are flat on the floor, and if you think that, your chair is too high, then you can have a footrest. Okay, so your feet are resting on the floor, your knees and hip are at 90 degree, your spine is erect and well supported, forearms on the hand rest. And if you have a neck rest or a head rest, make use of that. Again, we get something called as lumbar roll. Lumbar roll is for your low back. So you can have that lumbar roll at your back, which will support your lumbar spine. And as we had discussed earlier, that the screen has to be at your eye level. Okay, so that will also make an at the eye level, and again somewhere around 20 to 30 inches away. So imagine karo ki one hand distance, you have to maintain that distance, and that will make sure that your spine is protected. So if you ask me what is the good posture, okay, so good posture is when you are sitting, you are bearing equal weight on both your sit bones, your spine is erect, tummy is slightly tucked in, shoulders are retracted, and chin tucked in. So in the beginning it looks quite a lot of work because we are not used to it. Okay, but what you can do, you can set an alarm every hourly, just to check our posture. Once you start correcting your posture every hourly, it will eventually become an habit. Okay, so again, I had already mentioned this, there is third, you have to follow 30-minute rule. So in after every each 30 minutes, stand, stretch yourself, walk, even if it is for 20 seconds. Okay, every 30 minutes, it is going to help your disc. Okay, so this if you're doing this, that is going to maintain your spinal nutrition, and the back pain can be pushed to the bay. Okay, now again, you are going to keep check on, as I said, keep check on your posture. You also keep check on whether am I leaning forward. So I'm working at my laptop, and I most of the times I'm leaning ahead, my chin is poking out when I'm intensely focused and doing some work. So every hourly we have a posture check wherein I check and see if I'm leaning ahead. If I am leaning, then I'm going to reset it to the normal posture, a good posture, get my chin back, and start working again. Okay, Now, there are, sometimes, it may happen that you're working for long hours. So what you can do is you can switch between standing and sitting. So in an hour you can stand for 10 minutes. Okay, if you have a standing desk where you can work. Okay, and calls, you can take your calls while standing, or you can take your calls as you're walking in the lobby. Hmm? And again, another important aspect is taking always having your core tucked in. So when we are looking at the core exercises, or when I say to keep your core tucked in, that does not necessarily mean that you have to suck your belly inwards. You just have to suck your belly button slightly in so that your abdominal muscles are engaged. Okay, only that much of abdominal contraction is good enough to protect your spine. Now, fixing the laptop trap. So now what are the issues that we face with the laptop? Now laptop is convenient because we can carry the laptop everywhere. If you have a meeting, you can carry the laptop to your conference room. But the problem with laptop is most of the times when we're working on the laptop, your screen is too low, or if you take your screen at eye level, then your keyboard is too high. So to tackle this issue, you can use a laptop stand. Okay, and when you are all working on the laptop for more than 2 hours a day, that is going to increase your risk of back pain, neck pain, and also you must have heard of the pain in the wrist and the tingling in the hand, weakness in the hand. That is also because of the repetitive this is called as repetitive trauma injury. You are continuously working on the laptop or a desktop, and there is a continuous pressure at this area, and nerve gets compressed and you have pain in the hand. So to undo that, what you have to do is you have to change the way you work. So you have a laptop stand so that it is at your eye level. You can also have a stand for your keyboard so that your keyboard is slightly tilted. Instead of our regular mouse, use a ergonomics vertical mouse, so that will save your wrist and hand. Okay, now apart from all this, the micro breaks are very important. So if you are taking micro breaks, now when we are saying micro breaks, these are 30 seconds to max 1 minute long breaks. So these if you are regularly taking micro breaks, these reduce the back pain by 30%. Okay, now if these are the movement breaks, then definitely it is going to cancel all the ill effects of your static postures. Okay, so when we are looking at whatever we have spoken about, apart from that, there is another aspect which is called as 20-20-20 rule for eye. Now what is it? That every 20 minutes you look at an object, because you are staring at the screen all the time, right? So after every 20 minutes you look at an object which is 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds. So that is going to release the eye strain. Okay, and also it will help your neck muscles to reset. So the what are the exercises that you can do while you are at the desk? So there are four exercises mainly. Those are chin tucks, thoracic extensions, seated figure of four stretch, and scapular squeezes. So if you can pull your chairs back and exercise with me, that will be great. So our next slide is showing chin tucks. So when you are sitting, what you have to do, you have to pull your chin back in the same plane, bring it back, hold for count 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let go. Once again, pull it back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. And you will be doing these chin tucks every hourly 10 times. Okay. These chin tucks also strengthen your neck muscles. Now, thoracic extensions, because you're leaning forward, you're slouching your back, so you can pull your chair, sit at the back of your chair, and over the edge of the chair, you can extend your spine. You can hold the chair and extend your spine. Okay, so these are the thoracic extensions. Now, figure of four stretch. So, you just have to take your fold your knee and put it on the other knee. Keep your back erect and bend forward. So, as you bend forward, what are you going to feel? You will feel the stretch running down the bent knee on the sides, as you bend forward, you will also feel the stretch in the buttock region. Okay, this stretch is good for the back, and it also relieves and stretches your sciatic nerve. So if you have heard of sciatica or sciatic pain, so this is a very good stretch to undo effect of the long sitting. Now, uh, our neck is supported by your shoulder muscles, and the muscles which are shown in this picture, scapulas are your shoulder blades. So, muscles between your shoulder blades. So, you have to exercise these muscles because these are your shoulder stabilizers. All right. So, what you can do, you just have to sit erect and bring your shoulder blades back. So as you bring your shoulder blades back, you will feel that these two shoulder wings are coming closer and these muscles are getting compressed. Hold that contraction for count of 5 and let go. You can repeat it twice or thrice. Okay, apart from these 4 exercises, what else can you do? You can simply shoulder shrug, right? Retractions we have already mentioned. You can rotate your arms clockwise and also anti-clockwise. There are certain neck stretches which you can practice sitting at the desk, simply holding your head, stretching sideways. It stretches the trapezius muscle which overworks, right? So whenever you are doing this stretch, you hold this stretch for 20 seconds. Okay. Now, what is the correct office posture? So, if you are using a good office chair, so now look at this gentleman. Now, he has his posture is quite good, and it is very well supported by this chair. His head is also supported, right? Now, you look at his sit pan. The sit pan is supporting his thighs very well, and last part just at the knee joint, so somewhere around 5 centimeter, there is a gap. Now this gap has to be there, otherwise this edge of the chair will dig into his back of the knee and it will compress the back of the knee, damaging or disturbing the structures in the knee. So this gap need to be maintained. Now look at his feet. Okay, knee is maintained at 90, hip is also very well aligned, and the feet are very well supported on the floor. Now his hand position, the forearm is very well rested, and but look at his screen. The screen is not at eye level. The screen has to come little up. Then the posture is going to be correct. Okay, now what to stop and what to start? Okay, so what are the high risk habits, with regards to monitor view? Looking down at the laptop. Okay, now keeping the laptop on your lap and working, that definitely your neck is going to be stooped all the time, or your desk is low, you will be looking down at your laptop, so that you have to stop and live at your screen at your eye level. With, you can use a stand, or you can use a stack some books or a bundle of newspapers, and place your laptop on top of it, so that the screen comes at your eye level. Now your sitting posture, the slouching at the edge of the chair. Okay, so instead of sitting properly into the chair, the thighs well supported, we tend to come forward and sit at the edge of the chair when we are doing some intense work. So we should avoid that because that does not serve the purpose. It in damages our back. So instead, push your hips fully back and have a lumbar roll or a cushion at the lower back. So that will support your lumbar spine. Now have if you are working continuously for 3 2 hours straight, that is going to cause static posture, and that will definitely damage your spine. Okay, so instead of that, have a minute long micro break every 30, max to max 45 minutes. Okay, now when you are having you are talking over a phone call, and you know that that phone call is going to last longer, prefer walking while taking the call, or use hands free or for the phone calls, and avoid cradling the phone between your ear and shoulder. Okay, so because imagine if you're keeping like this, the muscle is continuously in a contracted state, and that is going to cause a lot of issues. Okay, now what are the ergonomic gears? Like now you're looking at the first one. So this is sit to stand desk riser. So now this desk riser, it can transition between sitting and standing position. So it is adjustable desk. So it also has a a drawer or a support for the keyboard or keypad, and the screen, the desk itself is adjustable. The screen is coming at the eye level, but desk itself is adjustable, so you can either sit or stand, and you can keep switching between the position. Now vertical ergonomic mouse, so this is in the handshake position, preventing any forearm strain. So when you are working with our traditional mouse that we use, most of the times our wrist is continuously getting compressed when you're using the mouse, and that can cause strain in this area, causing the carpal tunnel syndrome, pain here and in the hand, and sometimes tingling, numbness, and even the power loss. So in order to avoid that, you can opt for the ergonomic mouse. And the memory foam, is all of within all these three, the most convenient and easily found is the memory foam lumbar roll. So you can definitely invest into it. Now what are the your 4 step daily spinal health routine? So morning, when you set up your desk, so you adjust your chair at 90 90 90. Your spine is erect, hip and knee at 90, and your feet are supported, and your neck is well rested. So before you start your work, you adjust all these things, get your monitor at your eye level. Now by mid morning, like remember about following your 2020 rule, after every 20 minutes, look far away for 20 seconds. So that is going to reduce the strain on your eyes. And at that time, do 10 chin tucks. Now at 3 p.m., stand up, perform thoracic extensions, do few breathing exercise, walk around. See, walking again is going to improve your breathing capacity. So do that. All right. And evening time, like when you are just few hours before you wind up for the day, you should do the some hamstring stretches, figure of four stretches to unload your spinal disc. So I think if you follow this, and along with that have a good routine, apart from that, minimum 2 to 3 liters of water every day, have nutritious food, avoid junk, avoid too much of caffeine or tea and soda, that's going to be helpful. And engage yourself into regular exercising. Now that exercise can be lifting some weights, or some aerobic form of exercise, jogging, running, or cycling. but make sure that your body is having some or other exercise every day. And I would recommend that at least 2 days, like twice a week, you should be lifting weights. The strength training is definitely important because it is going to improve your muscle mass as well as it will also help strengthening your bones. So now we are open for questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Hi everyone. So we can take questions now. Okay, so I'll take the first one from Q&A. If a person has spine surgery, then how to manage?
So, if you have had a spine surgery, the first thing comes first is after the spine surgery, you have to follow your rehab plan, and whatever exercise been prescribed by your spinal surgeon as well as your physiotherapist, you have to continue with those exercises. And when you resume work again, the apart from whatever we have discussed right now, you have to continue with your regular spinal exercises, and that is what going to help you.
Okay. Could you please share a picture or diagram for a good work posture that we have already shared? What to do for lower back pain? I think that has also been answered. Um, but if you want to add anything, Vidula.
So, see, when you're talking about lower back pain, and if you're talking in general, it is not. If we just consider that it is not only work related, then first thing, like no, we were talking about the disc. Okay, you have to maintain a good disc nutrition. So then it becomes compulsory for you to have maintain good hydration. Drink 2 to 3 liters of water each day. Apart from the ergonomic advices that I've given during the session, there are few exercises that you must do. These exercises are mainly spinal extension. Now the low back pain can be of of because of various reason. Okay, sometimes it is because of the posture, sometimes it's because of the weak muscles, sometimes it is because of the disc, sometimes it is because of the structural changes in the spine. So if your pain is lingering for longer, then it is necessary that you first get it assessed by a physiotherapist or orthopedic surgeon, and then follow the plan given by the physio. Okay, so that is going to be helpful if the pain has been chronic.
Okay, thank you. We'll take the next question. While using mouse, too much strain in right hand.
Why?
While using mouse, so they use mouse for working,
Hmm.
right? So they
Hmm.
have strain in the right hand.
Absolutely. So we have already discussed that like, when you are using, and generally we use mouse with our right only. So either like if you're using the conventional mouse, use a mouse pad which is not giving a lot of pressure in your wrist area. Okay, and also that 90-90 position of the arm and forearm, your forearm needs to be supported and also your wrist needs to be supported. The wrist cannot be in the flex position while using the mouse, but it has to be slightly extended. So when it is in slightly extended position, the pressure on the nerves and in the bones over here is minimal, and that can reduce the pain in the wrist. And if at all you have the pain in the wrist, ice that area to begin with, or you can just immerse your hand in ice water, and some movements of your hand and finger and wrist extensions, some gentle stretches every now and then will definitely be helpful.
Okay, so why most of the employees has varicose vein issue? What should we do to avoid this or improve
Okay.
it?
Okay, so varicose veins generally happen because of the poor venous supply or poor veins. Okay, the veins generally have the walls inside, and if you are having a static posture for a longer time, veins do not function very well. So, in order to address varicose vein, again, the movement is the key. Okay, you have to move more often, and when we are talking about varicose vein, the movement of the calf is much important. You must have heard that your calves are like, are is like your second heart. Okay, so if your calves are functioning fine, then the impure blood flows to your heart. But if you don't move much, definitely the veins cannot function properly. And you already know that you have varicose vein. Then you get varicose vein stockings, then you should be wearing the varicose vein stocking. Regular exercises are again essential in case of varicosities. And if you have varicose vein for a longer time, and if you have pain because of the varicose vein, or if you have ulcers which are not getting better, again because of the poor blood supply, then you have to visit the physician.
Okay. We can take another question from the chat. Suggest stretches for having a tingling sensation on one side of middle and lower back muscles.
Okay, so now the tingling, like I just assume that tingling sensation is only in the middle and lower back. So in that case, that figure of four stretch that we discussed, you should be doing that. And in yoga, there is a position called as child pose. So this child pose stretches your lower back muscles very well while maintaining a good posture. So that will be definitely helpful. And
Okay.
hamstring stretch.
Okay. Thank you. How do I know my spine is healthy other than no pain? Sometimes I do occasionally pain once in a while.
Okay, so if you do not have any pain, then I don't think that you need to worry. But it is again essential that even if you don't have pain, you should take care of your spine. That regular exercises and spinal extensions are very good when it comes to spine. Now, when I talk about spinal extensions, it's mainly Bhujangasana, or there is a position called as a Spider-Man pose, the Spider-Man exercises. So all these exercises, or maintaining a good core strength, a good pelvic strength, these all things are going to make sure that you have a good and healthy spine.
Okay, we'll take the next question. Are there any specific stretches women can do during their workday to relieve lower back pain?
So the stretches that we mentioned are they cover very much everything that we spoke about. But apart from that, you can also do in yoga there is cat and cow pose. Apart from that, the child pose, it's something that you should be doing. Then butterfly position, this position is going to stretch your inner thighs and thigh muscles. So this also relieves a lot of pain from your back. And in particularly not only for women but also for men, when you start training your pelvic floor, it improves your core strength. And once your core strength is improved, the incidences of back pain are very low.
Okay, thank you. To overcome neck pain and stiff neck, does an ergonomic pillow while sleeping bring some solution?
It can help, but as we discuss about when we're engaging into something external, before that I always believe that you should fix the internal aspects. So if you are having neck pain, then what you need to do is posture is most of the time the culprit. Check what are the activities that causing pain, and you should modify those activities. Correct your posture, improve your neck muscle strength, and with that most of the pain should go away. And apart from that, when you are engaging into a ergonomic pillow or a neck pillow, it is important to know that if whether you are a side sleeper or a back sleeper, because the pillow that you're using should support your neck curvature. Okay, so something like cervical pillows that we get in a market, so you can probably invest money into the cervical pillows.
Okay. Next question. It says when to give cold and hot compressions.
Okay, so cold generally, when you have a recent injury, the injury has happened or pain has started just 24 to 48 hours after the pain has started, you generally give a cold compression. But after 48 hours, okay, we should move to a hot compress. So if this muscle spasm, so initially, when it's just started, you give cold compress. But if the muscle spasm is chronic, it's been for there for long time, then the hot compress is going to be helpful.
Okay. I had collarbone surgery. Someone says I had collarbone surgery 8 months ago. Is it safe for me to start lifting weights now?
As long as you do not have pain, and again, the extent of the surgery, I am not aware. So it is not wise to comment like whether you will be able to lift weights or no. But if you get a go from your surgeon, then you should go ahead.
Okay, so is no head pillow has any benefits? Like if they're not taking any
Not
pillow?
really. So, as I said, that your neck has curvatures, right? So, you have a curvature at your back. And so if you are a back sleeper, then you need to fill in that gap between the curvature and the bed. So, you need to have a neck pillow. So, if you are a back sleeper, I would suggest that you should get a neck pillow, somewhat about 2 to 3 inches in height. And if you are a side sleeper, you have to cover this much distance, because that is from the side of your neck to the tip of your shoulder.
Okay. So someone asked, I have pain in both heels since long time. What exercise can I do? I had treated orthopedic, but there's no relief.
Both heels, he said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in case of pain in both heels, the first thing that we need to do is change your footwear. Okay, so if the footwear is not supporting well, okay, or it does not have a good shock absorber, so it can lead to heel pain. Also, in case of heel pain, what can be done is good massage to the sole of the foot, and the foot stretches and the calf stretches will definitely help with the heel pain.
Okay. Uh, so someone asked that in their left leg, so when they stop for 2 minutes, when they stay still, their thighs are like not moving. Okay. Means blood circulation gets slow.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so sometimes when you are still in one position, the as rightly mentioned, that the blood circulation stops, and because of which there is numbness, and then you are unable to move. But as you start moving, the things will get better. But in case that numbness stays for longer time, and if it is because of the neural origin, is because of the nerve compression, then this kind of a neural pain or a tingling numbness needs to be treated.
okay. Then, and are orthopedic footwear worth it, like Dr. Skoll or others? Do they have any benefits? Any suggestions?
Okay, so if you have see, we orthopedic footwear, these are not tailor made, okay, not as per your foot requirements. So for that, what is needed is you get a good foot assessment done, and see what your foot needs. Sometimes what happens, whatever footwear that we get in the market, Dr. Scholes or Hush Puppies or Skechers, so they have a set arches or a set support. But if your requirements are different, then that footwear might not help you. Okay, it is made as per in general population needs. But not, if you have a particular need, then what is recommended is you should get your foot assessed, and according to your analysis, you should get your footwear made from your from a foot orthotics or foot where they make the insoles, customize insoles.
Okay, so someone says, I feel irritation in lower neck while carrying laptop bag. What could be the reason?
So again, it is spinal loading. Like how you are carrying the laptop bag. Is the laptop bag is on your back, or you are carrying it, with the cross bag. So it depends on that. And the best thing to carry the laptop bag would be on your back. And apart from how much you are stuffing in that black bag also matters. And if your neck is hurting only with the weight of the laptop, then you definitely need to work on your neck.
Okay, one last question. What type of mattress and pillow do you recommend for people who spend 8 to 9 hours a day working at a computer to help prevent back and neck pain?
So see that there are no we get multiple pillows and mattresses in the market, but what I would suggest is do not go for the mattresses which are sagging, which are too soft. Where the mattress or the pillow should support your spine and support your neck. But if they are failing to do that, then definitely the money that you spend on these fancy mattresses are worthless. So, when you are sleeping on a mattress, the mattress should support your body and you shouldn't sag into the mattress. Same applies to the pillow. The pillow needs to be firm enough, not too soft. Now, imagine that if the pillow is too soft and you put your head onto it, and if it is compressing completely, it is not serving any purpose. So, if in case of pillows, there are certain brands in the market that come with the name of cervical pillows, you can invest into it.
Okay, so someone asked, what yoga steps would you suggest after 2 months of hand fracture surgery?
So after hand fracture surgery, I wouldn't recommend yoga immediately. First, you go through the exercises given by the physiotherapist. And once you have completed the rehab plan and your physiotherapist tells you to go ahead with the other activities, then you can start with yoga.
Okay. One question, I sleep on floor with mat beneath. I don't use mattress. Any disadvantages with this?
Definitely yes, because you are not getting any support from the mat. Okay, and again, that surface is going to be pretty hard to sleep onto. So the mattresses are recommended, but again, if you are using mattresses which are used for many years and you have not change your mattresses in long time, they actually lose its form and they don't support. So you have to change your mattresses
So
in
any suggestions for the mattresses if you have?
a brand.
Yeah.
Not really, but then there are a few companies like Wakefeet or the Sleep Company, so you can look into it.
Mhm. Okay. So someone asked that I have important back-to-back meetings for an hour, just like I ended one and next joined the webinar. So how to manage that?
So now see the if you are talking about this webinar, this webinar, this your screen is off, so you can actually walk around and attend this webinar. So for this webinar, you really do not have
Correct.
excuse. But yes, if you have back to back meeting, between the meetings, you can between the two meetings you have a breather period. During that breather you should stretch yourself.
Okay, so someone asked for their maybe mother. What activities do you suggest for a patient had recent fractured L2 lumbar region bone? She's 66 years age around.
Okay, so if it is L2 lumbar region fracture, the first thing we will have to look how the fracture is healing. Okay, so if the fracture is still healing, then definitely she will be having a support or some restriction with regards to the movement. The first thing we follow is we work on the core muscles. So wherein there is no there is not lot of movement that is actually happening at the spine, but still the muscles around the spine are strengthened with the help of the static exercises. And meanwhile we work on the lower extremities, because if you are working on strengthening your lower extremities, that is definitely going to reflect on your spine as well. And once we get a good go from the doctor that the fracture is healed, then we actually start with the exercises that will strengthen the spine, and that will also include movement at the spine. Like the movements are mainly the extensions or the flexions, but again it depends what kind of a fracture it is. And after knowing, like, know what kind of fracture and whether the patient is not having osteoporosis, it also important that if the patient is having osteoporosis, the recovery time is going to be longer. So uh, this question, the answer was generalized. It is not particular to that case because I do not know the patient.
Yeah, correct, correct. Okay, okay, last question, I think. Someone asked that if they are prone to seasonal neck pain, is it good not to use a pillow
No,
or
no, no, you have to use a pillow. The
okay.
pillow is compulsory. You will have to see which one works best for you. And again, apart from pillows, first work on your neck muscles. Once your posture is good and your neck muscles are strong, and if you do not have, like, you don't know what to do, please visit physiotherapist who is closest to your place. Or if not, definitely contact me. I will be able to help you out.
They're also asking about donut cushions for the
The
only
donut
option I
cushions
mentioned.
for the tailbone pain,
Mhm.
it will definitely help because it will take away the weight from the tail tip of the tailbone. So donut pillows are helpful if someone is having a tailbone pain. Otherwise, you need not use it.
Okay. I think, okay, how to reach Dr. Vidula. We'll be sharing you the video of this, and in the end, she has shared her contact details and everything, so you guys can contact her from there. Okay, so mostly it will be uploaded by tomorrow or day after, so you guys can keep a check on our channel on YouTube. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Vidula. It was a very insightful session for all of us. I hope everyone agrees with me. And yes, I would like to, highlight that everyone needs to exercise a bit at least because we are working day in and day out and sitting on these chairs. So we should be aware of our surroundings, aware of ourselves, what we are doing with ourselves, and do chin tuck or do some stretches while because we're spending 9 hours, 10 hours in the office, right? So we should be aware of our surroundings, aware of us, and do a little movement here and there. Drink more water, maybe do a little yoga, spend time on ourselves rather than just working and working and working, right? So hope this would help you in the weekend. In the coming weekend, you do something for yourself. And yes, over to you, Vidula, if you want to say some last words to them.
Thank you so much. It's lovely audience, and I love the participation from the audience. Thank you so
Thank you. Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a great weekend. And yes, take care of yourselves and your family members. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.